morning, Mario Singh.
Hi, Prem.
Hi, very nice to meet you today, and thank you for joining us on Kinitv.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Mario, I can call you Mario?
Sure.
You are a forex expert. You're very well known in terms of forex and forex trading, and you are the CEO of Fullerton Markets, which is a New Zealand-based company, but you are based out of Singapore with a team of 50 people. That's great. Great to have you here today. So, Mario, forex is very well known, and as a trader, can you give us the big picture here, right? What is forex trading about, and how do you do forex trading to make a buck out of it?
Fantastic question, Prem. So here's the thing, right? Forex is basically trading on currencies. It's as simple as that. It's basically trading one currency over another currency. So let me give you one prime example. The most traded currency pair in the world is basically the euro versus the US dollar. Today, that rate is about, say, 1.13. So essentially, 1 euro equals to 1.13 US dollars.
Yes.
Now, how do we make money? Just simply 2 points. Number one is that when the rate goes up from 1.13 to say 1.15, and if you click a buy, you're basically making money. That means prices are rising. The beautiful part about Forex is that even when prices drop from 1.13 to say 1.07, if you had clicked sell, you still make money. And this is the beautiful part about the Forex market, that people can make money basically either way.
But it obviously can go the other way, right? I mean, you can also lose money on forex. So, what strategies does one need to know before going into forex trading?
All right. Now, basically, for me, when I teach forex all over the world, I essentially tell people that you need to get a good grasp on three things. I call it the 3 laws of successful trading. So, essentially, law number 1 is basically strategy. You got to know at any point of time should you buy or sell or stay out. But many people think strategy is the be-all and the end-all. That's not true. Strategy is important, but 2 other things are more important. Law number 2 is actually money management. How do you control your risk in the market? And number 3 is basically called the trader psychology, which tends to trip people up. You've got to manage your own psychology in terms of fear, greed, and hope.
Right. Okay. That's great 3 strategies, right? But if I want to enter the market, I'm not an expert in forex. Everybody's saying, oh, the currency is going to go up, it's going to go down. Anything can happen, right? So, how does one learn forex quickly and get it right? To maximize the return, but maybe minimize risk.
Sure.
What do you do?
Well, the first key thing, Prem, is really about education. Many people will have this impression that Forex is risky, but essentially anything comes with risk when you don't know what you're doing. Trading the stock market or literally investing in the property market is also considered risky if you don't know what you're doing. So for me, I always share with people that you need to have a grounded education. Now, what exactly does that even mean, right? Well, in trading specifically, 2 points. You either study the economics of the country or the economics of the currency, or you look at the chart and you employ something termed as technical analysis in terms of how prices are moving. Once you grasp it, it's actually not that difficult.
Right. So, some people say that, you're guaranteed to make money off Forex. Some people say, you give me your money, I will give you 20% return, 30% return. Is there such thing as a guarantee in Forex trading?
There's never a guarantee in basically anything. However, the markets have become so open in a sense that you can more or less predict what's going to happen. Let me give you a perfect example, Prem. So, about 2 months ago, right, there was this big hoo-ha about the UK leaving the European Union. And it did happen, and when that decision was made, when the referendum was made on the 23rd of June to say, hey, we as a UK, as a country, we are leaving the EU. And when that happened, the British pound literally plummeted. So that's one specific strategy that all our audience can actually employ. If you follow the news close enough and if you take action, chances are you are able to make good money in the Forex market.
But, with the Brexit, the vote could have been the other way. So you had betted that, Britain would leave Europe and it decided against it, you probably make a loss on your trade.
Not exactly. Let me explain. This is a great point right now. So in trading, one key statement that I always share with people is that you never predict, you only react. What that essentially means is this. So I told my audience, we never really know whether they'll stay or whether they'll leave. But let's consider both sides. In the event that they will stay, the pound would most likely shoot up. in which case you should click buy. If they decide to leave, you then can click sell, and in that same particular instance, you still make money. So Prem, this is the beautiful part about forex trading that many investors fail to see. You are able to react at any point, and if you get it correctly, you still make money. Now that's one side of the equation. Let me show you the other side. Assuming you get it wrong, you must always have a place, what I term as a stop loss. And a stop loss is essentially a point that you tell yourself, hey, I'm getting the trade wrong, I'm going to cut off the trade and restart again. So you never really lose the bulk of your equity.
Right. So that's a bit about psychology, like you mentioned, right? To be able to have a stop loss, to say, even though you've lost, let's cut it off now, the trade,
absolutely,
and then move forward.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I always emphasize that, money management and psychology is more important than strategy anytime.
How long have you been doing this, Mario?
I've been in the markets for about 10 years now, Prem.
Great, great. And what have your big success stories, and what have you bet and really made money on?
Probably my greatest bet would be this, is getting a mentor. Many people will be asking me all over the years, Mario, what was your best trade? Did you make $1 million in one trade? Could you buy 100 properties with one trade? That is almost not the important point. The most important point is, how do you even get started? How do you even, have all this knowledge that once you have it, you're always replicating it over and over again? The key statement, Prem, is always get a good mentor, because a mentor will be able to give you two things. Number one, the right knowledge. Number two, the right action. And that saves you tons of time when you embark on a journey called forex trading.
Right. Certain governments, including the mentioned government, are a bit nervous about forex trading, right? They feel that, perhaps too many people are getting involved, there's too many scams around, Where's the line between regulating trading to make sure it's a legitimate action which people can partake in, and not allowing people who are doing scams and all to get involved?
That's a great question, and I guess every single country operates in a different regulatory framework. So let me give you an example. Singapore is a very open economy. Free capital markets. There's money moving in and out of the forex market, the bond market, the equity market. Malaysia particularly, probably it stems many years ago. There was a time when George Soros was probably speculating on the ringgit. So the country became a little bit wary. There's nothing wrong with that, because obviously the government is trying to protect its people. Even now, I'm not even saying that there are many scams in Malaysia. There are many scams all over the place. As long as there's a new market that provides opportunity and speculation, there will obviously be scams. So this is something the government is trying to protect its people, but at the same time, I feel the time is right for the government now to kind of like change its mindset and start to embrace the effects of proper forex trading.
Great point. So, now as we use this to move into the ringgit, right?
Yep.
A lot of Malaysians, have seen the ringgit fluctuate from 3.2 up to 4.5, now about 4.05. Where do you see the ringgit heading?
So, if I'm going to give a call on the ringgit, we've got to understand what are some of the key drivers that move the ringgit for a start. One of the main reasons why the ringgit has kind of weakened the last 3 to 6 months is purely because of two things. Number one, oil. There isn't really a lot of demand on oil, and Malaysia depends a lot of oil revenue. Number two, exports have been falling in Malaysia. Now that's nothing new. If you look at all the Southeast Asian countries, exports are falling everywhere, including places like Thailand, South Korea, even Singapore. Exports are falling. Malaysia's GDP just came out at 4% as well, and those numbers have been dropping. So against that backdrop, my feel over the next 3 to 6 months, I do see the ringgit weakening to about 4.05 to 4.1 against the US dollar.
Right. So, there is some cause for concern. So maybe the drop may not be too much, but it may weaken a bit for the next 6 months.
The answer is yes. More importantly, will be this, Prem. Whether or not against a backdrop of weakening currency or against a backdrop of strengthening currency, the most important point for the retail trader or investor would be, how then can I make money against such a so-called gloomy backdrop? Warren Buffett says it beautifully. Be greedy when others are fearful, be fearful when others are greedy. So against literally any backdrop, whether we are in a buoyant economy, whether we're in a gloomy economy, there are always pearls of jewels that we can find to literally make a consistent income.
Great. So, that's very interesting insights. You mentioned, the three things that need to have a strategy, have a psychology, have a timeline, things like that. Very interesting things. What's the first step? Is there somewhere they can go? I know you have a website called mariosingh.com.
Yep.
This is a book that you have published, Unlocking the World's Largest Financial Secret.
That's right.
Book's doing really well.
Thank you very much. This is in fact a best-selling book. It's been endorsed by a couple of billion-dollar fund managers. One of them is Dr. David Kotok that runs Cumberland Advisors in New York. He manages a fund of $3 billion US. This is one of the main reasons why I wrote the book, Prem, because many people like to make money, right? The retail person doesn't really care whether is it forex trading, is it stock trading, is it property trading. I just want to make money, you know. The forex market today, Prem, is considered the largest financial market in the world. It's been my passion for the last 10 years. I always tell people, if you understand the forex market to its core, from there you're able to branch out to stocks, to bonds, to oil, to gold, to silver. So this would be the first building block. And that's the main reason why I wrote about it. The 3 laws that I talk about, strategies, money management, and state of mind, the 3 laws are all covered in this book.
That's great to know. I think it's great insight. You know, I wish you luck. I'll keep an eye on the site, and if I ever want to get into forex trading, I know where to start.
Thank you so much for having me, Prem.
Thank you, Mario Singh.
Thank you.
Thank you.